Hey guys, Stephen Tony here, and I am back with a new video. And the poll from when I was getting over my cold was what video would you guys like to see me do when I'm better? And only three people did vote, but I do thank whoever did vote, and the vote was unanimous in wanting to see either an actor, actress, or filmmaker collection overview. And I am very happy to be doing that video this week. And upon seeing the vote count, I knew exactly who I wanted to do this collection overview on, and that is the Spanish actress Nieves Navarro. Now, for anyone who isn't familiar with her, she started acting in Italy in the early to mid 60s. Her breakthrough role was a supporting part in the Toto comedy. Um, I believe it was either Toto in Egypt or Toto in a harem or something like that. But she played his main friend in the film, and the person who ends up helping him out, in the end of the film. But then by the mid 60s, 64, 65, she started doing the spaghetti westerns and became a huge name in the genre, and got star status in Italy as a result of it, and spent the remainder of her career in the country, mainly acting for her husband Luciano Ercoli. So yes, now two films I have seen of hers that I don't have in my collection as of right now is the 1969 film Naked Violence, aka Youth Massacre. In that, she plays a social counselor trying to help these uh, emotionally disturbed youths. Um, it's an interesting film. It was written and directed by Fernando Daleo. It's a somewhat harrowing story in its own way, but she was really good in it. And the other is All the Colors of the Dark. I actually may have to give that one a rewatch eventually, because I do like Nieves, and I liked Edvig Finch in it, and I've really grown to enjoy her films a lot as well. And of course, George Hilton is her leading man in it, so I really should see about giving that a second viewing. So yes, I like those are two of hers. I don't have in the collection. Um, I do have Adios Sabata, which she has an on-screen credit with, but I'm not going to include that because she only has like a 2 to 5 minute cameo in it. So I'll be focusing on the films where she has big parts in it. So yes, and without further ado, I will start with the Ringo films, A Pesto for Ringo and The Return of Ringo. Um, a pistol for Ringo, I've always preferred. I just love the whimsy of it, and the fun of it. Not that it isn't lacking good action and dramatic moments, but I just think I love this western like all around. It's got the right balance of whimsy and seriousness of it. And in this one, uh, Navarro plays Dolores, the girlfriend of the main baddie, Fernando Sancho, and she's just amazing in it. And oh yes, for this video, I will be focusing on her performances in them. So yes, as I was saying, uh, Navarro is great in her part. I always took it as she was a woman trying to survive in the male dominated outlaw life, of where she's added the time of the film. She's this mixture of femininity and toughness, like, as in she's like, beauty, but she's also somebody you clearly don't want to mess with as well. When she reveals that she's in cahoots with the gang in the first few minutes of the film, as she's holding the sheriff and his the deputies at bay. I thought that was like really cool, and then when they're all in the like hideout trying to find ways to get across the border back to Mexico, she's getting to know the major, and there's this, really good, honest love story blooming here. Her character realizes that there's, more to life than how she's been living, probably all she's truly known at this, up until uh, that point, but she ends up learning what it really is to be a lady. She learns kindness. She almost becomes overtly protective of the major, of his daughter Ruby, and of many of the ranch hands. And that was really nice to see, but she also doesn't lose her edge as well. She's like, she still like, shows, her male counterparts, that she isn't one to be trifled with. Something, she even reminds Sancho of at one point. And just what like happens to her towards the end. I mean, like, I honestly don't want to give everything away here, but what like happens when she chooses love. It's like, I felt for her. Yeah, I did. So yes, that is Pistol for Ringo. Um, she was still very good in the Return of Ringo, which I did like as a film, But I think because I had so much fun with Pistol, I was sort of hoping for a similar vibe to Return. But I was shocked when it was a night and day difference. With the films. I haven't rewatched the Return of Rango in some time, and I really honestly should because did like it. I am hoping if I do, get the yes, I am hoping if I do pop that's in again, that I'll have a much a better experience. So yes, with the sequel, Navarro plays a gypsy mystic. I want to say, she has the power to tell the uh, shower cards messages, and she's also something of a seer. I think in it as well. Well, if memory serves. It's still a good part, but it's not as good as when she played Dolores in the first film. But she also gets to show off another genuine case of romance, as this time she's genuinely in love with the character played by Fernando Sancho, and still loves him even though she doesn't agree with a lot of what he and his brother are going to the town, mainly in keeping it in sort of this, racial violence sphere situation. So so yeah. I mean, she still plays an interesting part, but I think her role in in the pistol for Ringo is much better. So yeah, so like that is the Ringo films, and next up is the Big Gun Down. Now this is a little bit more of a cameo on Nieves's part, but she does get decent enough character development and dialogue that it's a that it's a meaty enough role for her. She's in an extended segment in the film at a ranch. She's a widow who's now running her husband's ranch. We never learn her name in the film. But she's running in this ranch with an iron fist, and it's suggested that she has her hands occasionally brawl with each other, in order to earn her favor, if you will. Well, yes, she's a very seductive widow. Let's put it that way. And of course, Thomas Melian as the always fleeing Cuchillo, he ends up at a ranch trying to show her that he's a good worker, which he actually ends up proving pretty well, um, which leads to her being coy with him in her house, but he ends up taking initiative and then pays for it with even more of a of a beating than he'd have probably just gotten for being the wooed newcomer, if like you will, and then Van Cleef comes on the scene, and then she tries to seduce him as well. you know, and I'm like, man, like she's playing it up as a real vampire. But she really makes it work well. She has that, cap. I'm like a cap. Terrifying gaze. She has those almost almond eyes. I'm guessing. I know. They never really had close-ups on her eyes much, but I always thought I like they seemed like almond or something, and she just plays this really good playgirl vamp almost, like and of course shooting starts, and Van Cleef's forced to kill all of her Orion hands, and her fate is left very ambiguously, at the end. But I thought Nieves did well in what was mainly an extended cameo, but it was an extended cameo done right. Right, and just her being mesmerizing, captivating, and so much more. You you always remember her even when her screen time ends. You still think about her for a period of time. So that is the big gun down. Okay, and next is her first foray into the giallo genre, and her first time being directed by her husband Luciano Ercoli, and that is The Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion. This is a really cleverly plotted and twist galore giallo. She plays the best friend of the lead character here, and again, it's been some time since I watched this, but I do remember loving it. Thinking it was very good. But anyway, Navarro plays the best friend of the lighting lady here, who basically years ago somehow ended up posing in these erotic photos, and this guy here, Simone Andreu, I think his name is announced he's blackmailing her to give him money, or he is going to tell her husband, played by Pier Paolo Capone. And it's just this really interesting and complex cat and mouse game, and you're almost forever wondering whose side Nieves may be on. Like, is she somehow connected with the plotters? Is she really on her friend's side? Eric Coley and his co-writers did a really interesting job, sort of, having you never know exactly what Navarro is thinking throughout the film. She kind of gives looks here and there that audiences aren't sure of how to read. But when the truth does come out, like, it is a real surprise. Even I hadn't been totally sure of the outcome of it all. And again, Nieves plays her part great. Yeah, great. Like, she has that nice subtlety to her, to where she knows something, or has a strong inclination of what may or may not be happening, but she's keeping it real close to the vest. Yes, and that is the the forbidden photos of a lady above suspicion. Okay, and next is Long Days of Vengeance. Now, this one, Nieves gives a very different performance, and it's one that I like, but at the same time, I wouldn't say critical of her role in this film, but it could have been a lot more than what we ended up with on screen. In this, she plays the ex-love interest of Giuliano Gemma. She's now married to the crooked sheriff, one of the men who helped put Gemma's character falsely behind bars. And from what I had normally Nieves plays a very strong character, or she plays, someone who may look like she could be weak, and easily duped, but ends up proving like not to be in some form. Here, they just had her way too subdued. I mean, way too subdued. Like, in certain respects. I mean, the scene where she, talks to Gemma to convince him that she's, totally against the plot against him, like, that seems like, something that her characters would do to, try to assess the situation herself, and how to play it. But her kind of kowtowing to Francisco Rabal and Corrado Sen and excuse me, um, Corrado San Martin. That just never flew with me. Me, like Nieves is a much stronger lady, and her characters are much stronger ladies. I couldn't see her playing the timid wife, lover, or damsel to characters like them or whatever. Normally a Navarro character would just grab a knife or a gun, and hold it to the guys private parts, or or his throat or head, and urge him highly to rethink putting his hands on her. But yeah, that's just me though. Though, I mean, it just didn't feel like a character we would see her as. Yeah, as, but she's still great in it. It's one of her most nuanced parts. They did give her a lot to work with. In this, but I mean, I still do feel like it was missing, a little something. So that's that. And on to her last western in my collection, and that is the fifth and final Sartana film, Light the Fuse. Sartana is coming. Yes, here she plays. It might be a slightly small part, to some, but she still has a good amount of a screen time. Yeah, playing the wife of one of the bad guys, Jim Manassas, or like Manassas, Jim, as he's called in the Italian uh, version. Uh, version. She plays his wife, Belle, and this is her in full form. Like you know, she's cunning, sly. Sly. Has her enemies. Underestimating her in it. It is just classic Navarro. There. I mean, yeah, she is more of a bad girl here, but she just does it really well. And who and again, you aren't sure if she's really on any one side or if she's all out for herself. So yeah, but she's great in this one. Highly highly recommended. As all of these films are. So yeah. Okay, and now for the grand finale. Here we have the Death Walks Twice set. Death Walks on High Heels and Death Walks at Midnight. Yeah, like these films are Navarro at her best. In Death Walks on High Heels, she plays a exotic dancer, quasi stripper named Nicole, who has the um, unfortunate role of being the daughter of a jewel thief. And when her father is murdered, as he's pulling a job, whoever killed him thinks that she knows something about where he may have stashed his stuff. Stuff, and she spends the whole film trying to find out why this masked killer is obsessed over her. Now here she plays sort of a more damsel in distress type, but again she's by no means weak, and she delivers in the scenes where she's first seeing the killer and all the subtle phone calls he makes afterwards. She plays up the hysteria of that feeling so well. It's a little different for her, but she makes it work so well. And that's part of the reason why I think audiences really adored her, because she made every role, every role she had work. Even if it was a fairly generic part, she did her best with it. And and of course in Death Walks at Midnight, she plays a lady who, while helping her boyfriend with an experiment on, I believe it's LSD, she sees someone being murdered, and of course spends the whole film, trying to prove to her boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend, whom she's still on friendly terms with, and a few other friends, that she actually did see this, crime, being committed, and again, there's the play up of who's really being honest and with her, who knows more than what he or she is telling, and the danger she could very well be in for having seen that murder, even though nobody believes her because she was high on drugs. So I'm like that too is a very clever plot line. Okay, as well, and used to great effect here. And Nieves's performance, as the amateur sleuth, slash lady in danger, works well. And she does it well. Okay, and that is it for this video on my Nieves Navarro collection, or what I, or 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 at least what I have now of it. So thank you for watching. Please let me know in the comments what films of Navarro's you've seen, um, what you thought about the films I showed off here, what your thoughts are, if you've seen any of them, what you think of Miss Navarro in general. And like, also please leave a like, and of course hit the bell notification button if you haven't already, and subscribe, so y'all can keep seeing more goodness like this. And yeah, and yes, again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.